Alright, so I got my Super Trucker headset on, which means that I think the audio is coming through the mic on this Blue Parrot headset. I can't flip the camera between the front and rear facing cameras after I hit the record button. So I'm in Laredo, Texas right now, waiting to be loaded. Um, Here's somebody coming over and hanging out with me. Basically, this is their drop yard or their empty lot or whatever you want to call it, and they just tell you to come over here and hang out until we give you a phone call. That's something that's different with the industry these days versus last time. Almost all of the shippers and receivers, whenever you do a live load or a live unload, they ask you for your name and phone number, and they call you. So they're really big about calling you for stuff. Which last time I was in the industry, they would have CBs, and they'd tell you to turn to like channel 16 or 12 or whatever, and just sit there and wait for us to call you over the CB, or you would sit and wait in an office waiting room, or they would send somebody out to your truck or something like that. So the whole phone thing seems to be a lot better than the way they used to do stuff. But yeah, that guy's good. He just like slammed right into that spot, no problem. I slammed right into this spot, no problem as well. So I mean, it's not like this is a really easy place to back. I didn't even see how he set that up. I think he just did a U-turn and it just lined up. It's really good. But so I think I made a video about them screwing me out of my weekend at home, and I had to take a weekend off at a really crappy Love's truck stop. It was a tiny truck stop with terrible Wi-Fi. I got like 500 kilobit speeds. It was horrendous, and my latency was terrible. I changed parking spots to the closest spot that I could find to their transmitter, and it didn't help much. They just had really crappy Wi-Fi. It was Seguin or Seguin or Seguin something, Texas, just north of San Antonio at a Love's. They also had really nasty showers. I showered there twice. I showered there when I first got there, and then I showered there this morning right before I left. But I got over while I was sitting there on my time off. I got 2 loads put on me. I got a load put on me Saturday night that picked up Sunday morning at like 8 a.m. or something like that. Or it might have been Sunday afternoon. I think the first load that was put on me, it had me driving to Oklahoma City and picking up a load Sunday that had to deliver on Monday, I think, to Harrisonville. It was basically the exact same load that I did last Sunday, which was from this water bottle place in Oklahoma City, and I took it to a Walmart distribution center just south of Kansas City in Harrisonville. So they put that same load on me, so they had me deadheading from San Antonio to Oklahoma City. But it had to be picked up Sunday, and it had to be delivered Monday. So I messaged them, and I'm like, I'm on a 34. I've only got like a couple of hours until Monday. I can't do anything until Monday. And so they took that load off of me, and then Sunday morning at like 9 a.m. they put another load on me, this time going down to Laredo, picking something up and taking it to Fort Smith, Arkansas. Again, it had to be picked up on Sunday, and it delivered on Monday. And so I messaged them again. I'm like, why do you guys keep putting loads on me on my 34? I don't have hours to do anything on Sunday. Um, and then they took that load off of me. So then Sunday night rolls around, and I'm like, why the hell haven't they given me a load? They should have a load on me ready for Monday. Now, them giving me loads Saturday and Sunday is not the problem. That's not the problem. That's awesome. I would prefer that they give me a load Saturday or Sunday. The problem was the loads they were giving me required me to drive Saturday and Sunday. And I couldn't drive until Monday. So I called like 7 p.m. Sunday and spoke with Ethan, who seems to be the one I always talk to as an after-hours dispatcher. And he told me that I would have to wait until 6 a.m. Monday morning for the Laredo planners to come available. He said they're the ones that have to dispatch me. I'm like, great. So my hours actually came available at like 4 or 5 a.m. So at 6 a.m. I was expecting to get a load. Whenever they came online, nothing. 7 a.m. So I set my alarm to wake up at 6 a.m. So I woke up at 6 a.m. I looked. I didn't have a load. So I set my alarm for another hour. I woke up an hour later, giving them time to, come into the office and all their stuff. And 7 a.m. I woke up, still no load. So I messaged my DM and I said, can you get me a load? And she said, sure, let me check on it. They assigned me a load that picks up in Laredo, 200 miles away from where I'm at, in an hour. This was they finally, I messaged her at 7. They finally got me a load at almost 8 a.m., like 7:45, 7:50. And I had to be there where I'm at right now in 1 hour, and I was 200 miles away. I was like 3 to 4 hours away. And it didn't deliver until Wednesday at 7 a.m. and it was only an 800-mile trip to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. 800 total miles. Pick it up Monday morning. It doesn't deliver until Wednesday morning. That's half my week for 800 miles. That is terrible. Landstar backing in next to me. What the hell is he doing? There was a spot right there. Is he going to blindside? I don't know what in the hell Landstar's doing. He's probably going to park right next to that TransX truck. I don't know if there's a spot there. So I messaged the DM after they put the load on me, and I'm like, okay, can I deliver this? Can I pick this up late? Because I can't make that 9 a.m. appointment. It's 200 miles away, and it's in an hour. And I said, can I deliver early? Because I don't want to take 3 days to do 800 miles. That's going to set me up for like a sub 2,000 mile week, like 1,600 mile week or something, 2,000 mile week. It's going to be a terrible week if they, waste that much time doing that few miles. So she said yes. And after I get loaded, so she basically said, oh man, his airlines and electrical lines and everything are dragging on his catwalk. If he gets inspected, that's going to be a violation right there. Man, it got real busy all of a sudden. I got sidetracked, shiny things and stuff. Oh, somebody's wearing a mask. So I got my what the fuck was I thinking of? I completely forgot what I was saying. So she said yes to number one, that I could pick it up late, and to number two, if I could deliver it early. She said after I get loaded, let her know my ETA, and she'll see about getting me an earlier appointment, because it's a live load and a live unload. And states are starting to get more serious about all these shutdowns. The people there's a lot of people who are doing the right thing. They're staying at home. They're not being stupid. But there are a lot of people who are just like being really stupid about it. They're being selfish. They're being greedy. I see tons of people going up and down the road with RVs and wave runners, um, like lake type stuff. They're seeing this as a vacation, so they're off work and they're getting paid, and they see it as a vacation, so they're going to the lake and shit like that. I see tons and tons of people on the interstate that have recreational things in their vehicles, like dirt bikes and shit like that. And they're, I think what's going through their mind is, I'm just going to be riding around my boat at the lake. I'm not going to be interacting with people. I'm just going to be riding my dirt bike. I'm not going to be interacting with people. I'm just going to be doing, I see a lot of people cruising around on motorcycles on, the streets and the interstates. What's going through their mind is, oh, I'm not going to be interacting with people. They are going to be interacting with people. You have to fuel those vehicles. You're going to be stopping at the gas station. You're going to be touching fuel pumps. You're going to be talking with cashiers. Every time these people leave their damn houses and they go riding around on their wave runner or whatever, they're increasing their social interaction. They're increasing all the objects that they touch, where they can pick up something or they can transmit something. So a lot of states are realizing that there's too many dumbasses in this country. So they're starting to enforce these stay-at-home things. I've heard $5,000 to $10,000 fines and up to a year in prison, and just crazy stuff if they catch you out in some of these places where it's not a recommendation. So it's right now I'm in Texas, and I don't think they have any forced lockdown. I have been getting messages about New York and Florida are the ones that seem to be taking it real serious. Florida is starting to take it real serious. I just got a message about Florida, and they are checking people. They're using the truck weigh stations to check everybody that's coming into Florida and traveling around in Florida. They sent us a message telling us to use the left lane to bypass weigh stations in Florida. Trucks are exempt, and they're not going to bother sending us through weigh stations in Florida. They're using the weigh stations for normal cars, non-trucks, and pickups are not trucks. I've seen people in pickup trucks pull into weigh stations because they think that that's a truck. That's not a truck. A pickup is a car. I know that some people call it a pickup truck, but it's not a truck. It is a car. So there's probably going to be some dumbasses in some pickups that are going to bypass the weigh station if the sign says trucks can bypass. But yeah, as far as the highway system and the interstate system and driving and licensing and all that stuff in the United States, pickup trucks are not trucks. Any sign that on the interstate or highway that references trucks is talking about Class 7, Class 8 vehicles, not a pickup. Yeah, there's not a whole lot to talk about. I got really good miles last week, 3,400 miles. It's a pretty amazing week. And right now it's looking like this week's going to suck. Now, they're probably not going to be able to send me way the hell up north this time because they're sending me to Baton Rouge. So it looked like what they were going to do to me was send me on the exact same route that they sent me on last time. But they fucked up last time. And I don't like these Laredo planners. I'm in the region where Laredo is planning me, and these Laredo planners are some dumbasses. The loads I've been getting from them have been crap. They put 3 loads on me. I've rejected 2, and I almost rejected this one because I couldn't make the pickup time. This is just, it's getting on my damn nerves. And I finally broke down and just called into the recruiting line so that I could reach someone in the lease department to talk with them about leasing. And I did reach someone, but she said she's not the one that actually does that stuff. She works in the lease department, but I don't know what she does in the lease department. She wasn't 100% sure what the time frame was to lease. She thought that it required 6 months experience because of USA Trucks insurance. So she said that she was going to check with Tom, which is supposedly the one who deals with all of the stuff, and see, like, get a, some clarity on exactly when I can, lease. She did answer a couple questions for me. When I can lease, I can get the truck any way I want. I don't have to go through them or use any of the lease things that they use. None of that stuff. If I want to buy a truck cash somewhere, I can do that. If I want to go through my own bank, I can do that. If I want to use one of the places they use. They also said that Schneider has a lease purchase program that a lot of drivers use, and you do not actually have to drive for Schneider. You don't have to lease on with Schneider to use their lease purchase program. So I haven't really looked into that option. Once I get a good estimate of when I can lease, I'm going to start talking with my bank and see if they do commercial loans. Because it's not going to be a very big loan. It's going to be, I think the maximum I'm looking, well, all right. The absolute maximum I'm willing to spend on it on my first truck is, I'm thinking about $60,000. I might go as high as $80,000 if I find something that is just an absolutely amazing deal. Absolutely amazing deal. So my ceiling is right at around $80,000 that I'm willing to spend on the truck. But my realistic price range that I'm looking in is below 40. I really don't want to go above $40,000 on a truck. The only way I would be willing to go above 40 is if I just find something that is an absolutely amazing deal. Like let's say somebody is selling a 2-year-old truck with like 250,000 miles on it that is, a great truck, and they're selling it way below market for like $75,000. A 2-year-old truck with 250,000 miles on it that's a good truck, that's not some cheap piece of crap that sells brand new for like 110. You're talking about like $150,000 to $170,000 truck brand new. If they were selling it for 75, then that would probably be a really good deal. I would have to check a few things, but that's the kind of deal I'm talking about. Like, if I find something that is an absolutely amazing deal, then I think around 80 grand is my upper threshold. But the ones I've really been looking into are around 20 to low 30s. That is the ideal range that I would like to get into, because that gives me a truck payment that's so low that my fixed expenses should be negligible. Now, insurance is going to be high. I expect that to be high. But if I can keep the truck payment is one of your biggest fixed expenses. Now, fuel is generally your biggest expense, but that's not a fixed expense. It's a variable. So I want to keep my fixed costs down as low as possible. That way, if I do have a breakdown or something that puts me out of commission for a couple of weeks, it doesn't set me in the hole by very much. If I go out and get a $200,000 truck and I have, $1,500 a week in fixed expenses, because that's going to be like probably $1,200 a week for just the truck payment. And then I'm going to have, a couple $100 a week in other costs. So $1,500 a week in fixed costs. If I get put down for 2 weeks, then it could take me 2 or 3 weeks to climb out of that hole. Whereas if my truck payment, instead of being, $1,500 a week, is $6,000 a month roughly, if I have a $600 a month truck payment instead of a $6,000 a month truck payment, then that'll put me in a much better position. The truck will be more prone to break down, but I think if you talk to anybody who's been out here for a long time, you can break down in a brand new truck, or you can break down in a truck that's 5 years old. Breakdowns just happen. Now, if you get some truck that's not been well maintained and you're up around 700,000 miles on it, it's probably going to be a little bit more prone to break down on you. But you can break down in any truck. So I just want to get my fixed costs down, stack money. Once I have a nice big maintenance account and I have a lot of money set aside for, things that might happen. Once I have a lot of nest eggs, then I'll be willing to go out and buy that nice, awesome, perfect $200,000 truck that I want. I am falling in love with the APU in this truck, and that's something I'm going to start shopping for, is a truck with an APU. If I can find, I think the ideal truck would be like a $40,000 Volvo, 455 horsepower Volvo engine, Volvo transmission, 264 gear ratio, with the studio in it, about a 2016, 2017 year, ideally under 500,000 miles. And with an APU, oh man, that would be incredible. The thing that I'm seeing though is Volvos. All the Volvos that I'm seeing for sale don't have APUs. And I wonder, like, that's the second truck I've seen driving around like that in this lot. I think that they're like paid to clean trailers or something. What was I saying? Anyway, I get sidetracked easy. Shiny things. Shit, I forgot what I was saying. Anyway, the point of it was stack money, put money aside. Oh, APUs. Volvos, the Volvo engines have something like when I'm not a mechanic, I'm not an expert on engines, but when engines idle really low, it can cause some kind of issues. I'm not sure exactly what, but the engines aren't really designed to idle at really, really low RPMs, which is one of the reasons they burn so much fuel when they're idling. Like they don't need to burn that much fuel or put out that much power when they're idling, but if they idle any lower than what they idle at, then it causes some kind of compression issues or back pressure or something. I don't know. You can look it up. I don't know anything about it, but it's my understanding Volvo engines have something where they, whenever they're idling, they're able to go at a lower idle than other engines because they have something where it shortens the compression of the cylinder or something. I don't know what it does, but somehow it's my understanding that Volvo engines are able to idle lower than other engines, and that allows them to be more fuel efficient when they're idling. And I think that's the reason I don't see very many Volvos with APUs, is because APUs are expensive. They're about $10,000. So it takes a while to recoup that cost. Now, an APU, you can run like, it takes like 8 hours to burn a gallon of fuel on an APU, a good one. They burn like 0.1 to 0.15, right around 0.15 gallons per hour on a good APU. Most of these trucks burn like half a gallon. That's 5 times more fuel than an APU, like half a gallon an hour. Some burn more than that, some burn less than that. I think I've heard that Volvo engines burn something like 0.25 or 0.2 gallons per hour when they're idling. So they're incredibly fuel efficient at idle in comparison to other engines. And I think that's the reason I'm not seeing APUs on Volvos. I haven't seen a single Volvo that I've looked at for sale that has an APU. But I would still like to have an APU. If nothing else, to save on the engine's wear. It'll extend the life of the engine. Yeah, that's what those people are that I keep seeing driving around are doing. They're washing out trailers. Looks like they're hired to clean Stevens trailers, because I've seen them opening that Stevens over there. They open the doors on that one. They open the doors on the one next to me. So they're hired by Stevens to come over here and clean out trailers. But that's a big thing right now. I'm hoping I have another good week. In trucking, it's typically up and down. I had an amazing first week, and I hope I don't get screwed on this week. We'll see. The drive over here. So this place that I'm picking up from is really close to the interstate. So I didn't bother looking at the details of the route whenever I put the thing into Google Maps. And I just kind of rolled on over here, and I took the exit that it told me to take, and about a mile down the road, it was, I think, 3 miles. 3 miles to my destination after I took the exit off of I-35. And within a mile, it was probably less than a mile, I started seeing no truck signs. And I'm like, oh shit. So I saw one no truck sign, and I was like, maybe that sign was talking about a side street or something. There's no way that there are no trucks allowed on this street. So I kept going. And then I saw another no truck sign. And then another one. The third no truck sign that I saw, I pulled over on the side of the road, turned my flashers on, and looked at the map to see what the hell was up ahead. Why are there no trucks allowed on this road? So I looked at the street and everything, and I saw a Coca-Cola truck driving around in front of me. So there were other trucks on the road that were doing local deliveries. What I think the thing is that street was being used by trucks a lot, and they wanted to stop trucks from driving up and down that road because it was there were a ton of businesses up and down that road. It was like the center of town, and I think they just did not want lines of trucks going up and down that road. And because I was able to drive down the road without issue. But I sat there for about 5 to 10 minutes looking at maps, trying to figure out an alternate route and everything else. And to do an alternate route, I would have had to figure out, number one, how to turn around, which it would have been a major pain in the ass for me to turn around. I don't know how I would have been able to do it. I probably would have had to do a 3-point turn in the middle of an intersection to turn around. um, because the businesses did not have very big parking lots that were up and down the road. The businesses were pretty much right up against the road. So I didn't see any businesses that I could easily pull into and turn around in. Um, so I decided to just drive on. At that point I was only 2 miles away from my destination. I was like, I'm just gonna press on, and I did, and I made it through there without issue. But I'm gonna have to be more careful with that. With the Google doing the mapping, I really should probably invest into some kind of truck GPS. The problem is that every one of them that I know of is kind of crap. They're not worth the money. So I don't know. Like the Rand McNally that my trainer had, he had one of the top of the line $500 Rand McNally GPSs, and that thing was a piece of crap. It was constantly routing us on service roads and telling us to do U-turns and just all kinds of ridiculously stupid crap. And it was like the maps weren't up to date on it. It was just a piece of crap. For $500, that thing was a worthless piece of crap. The thing I really love about using Google Maps is how accurate it is. It is incredibly accurate. The Rand McNally was incredibly inaccurate. The only thing I don't like about Google Maps is there are no options for trucks to like avoid places where trucks aren't allowed or low clearance or anything like that. And Google has been asked if they're going to add those features into their map, and they said that they don't have any plans because there are several products that offer that already. So basically, they don't want to enter into that market, and I don't know. I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm just going to have to be a little more careful with choosing my routes on Google Maps. And like the route that I'm on right now, it tried to route me on some 2-lane highway almost all the way across Texas. Hundreds of miles on some 2-lane highway. And I was like, screw that crap. But then I put in my fuel stop that's on I-35, and it routed me 35 to 10, so it's got me on interstates now. And then I checked my destination in Baton Rouge, and it's got me going on, good streets. The big problem with Google, though, is that if it thinks that I went off of the route, like I could be perfectly content with the route that it puts me on initially, and if anything happens where it has to recalculate the route, it could change everything on the route. And so I have to be really careful with that, because where was it? It did that to me yesterday when I was going to that Walmart. No, it was not when I was going to the Walmart. When I was leaving the Walmart distribution center to go to the Loves where I stayed the weekend at, I was planning on taking I can't remember the highway number, Highway 43 or 56 or something like that, to cut across from 35 to 20. And Interstate 35 and 20 were only like 10 miles apart, and I was going to use that highway to cut across. Well, it recalculated the route while I was driving around the distribution center to leave the distribution center, and I didn't notice that it recalculated the route, and it had me going down farm to market roads instead of the highway, which wasn't a big deal. Like it was legal for me to be on those roads, and they had shoulders, so they weren't terrible roads or anything. But I would have much preferred to take a highway rather than the farm to markets, because I had to drive through some towns, and it was that's the kind of stuff that Google will do, though. But I need to figure out there's a couple of them that I'm going to check out. One's called Trucker Path, and a lot of people have been complaining. They said that Trucker Path used to be an amazing trucker GPS, But they've gotten greedy and they've started bloating it with ads, and people have been complaining about that. But I'm gonna try a couple of the free truck GPS things and see what they're all about. But I'll go ahead and end the video there. I'm just rambling. It's irritating me that it's taking so long for them to call me to get loaded. But it's just screwing my week right now. Anyway, thanks. Bye.